Hello and welcome to the third episode of Modern Chess Masterpieces. We'll be seeing a game from 2012 played between Volokitin and Mamederov. The game started with Nadov. White initially wanted to play English attack with bishop e3, but then later decided not to go for bishop e3, knight g4 and bishop g5, but switch to the other main line of playing bishop g5 immediately. e6 is more popular, knight bd7 was played in the game, and after queen e2, e6, we get a normal theoretical position. About 1000 games have been played from this position. f5, the most common move. And here, I believe e5 is the strongest move, attacking the knight, and after knight d5 takes, knight b6. This is the critical line with a very complicated game ahead, and the evaluation of this entire line depends on evaluation of this position. However, in the game, the move b4 was played, which is kind of dubious. This was first played in 1973. Tukmakov had few games here as white, back in those days. Black is threatening to take on c3. Of course, white takes on e6. Counter-attacking, b into c3, e into d7, and now black gets a difficult choice whether to take here with the bishop or with the knight, and it's not easy. Probably bishop d7 is a better choice, but yeah, white has two options here. Computer thinks the best way is to play queen c4, going for endgame, and after getting into some sort of an endgame, play rook h1. We can see white's pieces are more actively developed and white gets some sort of advantage. But I also think after bishop d7, it's very interesting to play the move knight d5, which machines are ignoring initially. But when you look at a position like, let's say, king b1, and computer suggests moves like bishop e6, takes. For example, if rook d5 happens here, I mean, practically, I don't think black will be especially proud of having a bishop on f8. So this is another direction. In the game, no such things happened. Black took knight into d7. White played the move queen c4. Once again, very strong move. It's a bit counterintuitive that despite black king being on e8, we want to get into endgame. But the thing is, black is lacking behind development. And let's say after c takes b2, king b1. By the way, just to be factually correct, that this all has been played before back in Tukmakov Pologoyevsky from 1973. And again, Pologoyevsky had so many new ideas from black side in this queen c7 variation of Nadov. Nothing new so far, everything has been played in 1973. The game in 1973, it went with queen takes c4, bishop into c4, knight e5 and bishop d5. White was clearly better. As we can see, his pieces are much more nicely placed. But the game eventually ended in a draw, and Pologoyevsky managed to hold this in Moscow 1973. In this game, Shach decided to play knight c5, keeping the queen. And now a very interesting training. You can take 15 minutes and pause the video. It's a very difficult move for any level, whether a grandmaster or 2600 or 2700. The moves are not very natural here, so I think it's a very good tactics training. In the game, the most obvious move was played, which is very intuitive. e5, the king is on e8, but this is also a mistake. The move that had to be played at this point was simply bishop e2. Develop the bishop, and basically saying, what is black doing next? We just want to play rook to f1. Let's say h6, we go bishop h4. For rook b8, we have rook hf1. For rook a7, okay, rook f1, knight e6, queen d5, just maintaining the pressure. Black could try 17 bishop e6 at this point, but we take, and a very interesting move, bishop to d2. It turns out black is having huge difficulty at this point. We are just saying, how are you going to castle? Even if you exchange queens, I get my bishop to b4, I want to take. And white wins in a positional manner. Now that's what makes this move bishop e2 very difficult, because we want to give checkmate, right? So e5 is the most natural move. Time for another training. How should black play here? Again, you can pause the video and try to find the best move. D into e5 would be a blunder at this point, because knight b5. After a b5, white does not take it with the queen, but plays queen d5. Brilliant move, threatening here, threatening checkmate, threatening bishop into b5. And the game is over. Black can play f6, but check here, queen takes 8. Black takes the bishop, rook f1. This king is not going to survive. Now, black played the strongest move, rook b8. getting away from all sorts of vulnerability on a8, and also protecting the pawn, which means if someday the knight can give check on c3, this will be a mate. Well, technically he can also give check on a3, but this is far too realistic. So e takes d6, very natural, bishop into d6, rook e1, going for the king, king f8. What to play now? If you find this move, you are a genius. Pause the video, try your best to figure out the move. I'll give a clue. You have to think what you want to play and why it is not working. And once you find why it is not working, then you find the best move. So first let's see what happened in the game, then we'll come back to this position. So in the game, bishop d3 happened. Very natural. You want to develop your bishop and you spot that bishop e2 runs into knight e4. So bishop d3 feels very logical. What is black's only move here? It turns out black has this phenomenal defense, rook b4. Out of nowhere, the queen gets into attack, and after queen takes b4, knight d3, black escapes. Rook b4, we can play queen c3, but black plays very calmly f6, and suddenly we see this king is not that weak anymore. Queen takes b4, knight d3, and we take here, then subsequently we take on g5, and we are doing fine. Now once we spot rook b4, let's get back to the previous position, and the question is, how do you stop rook b4? There are two ways to do it. We don't want to play a3 because after queen f5, this comes into attack. So the move that wins in this position is actually bishop d2. Super counterintuitive. We stop rook b4, and let's say bishop e6, we take, we play queen d5. We want to play bishop to d3 next. If a move like h5, trying to create some space, it doesn't really matter. We play bishop d3, knight d3, queen d3. It turns out the king is never going to escape, and white is almost killing at this point. So bishop d2 was the best move. In the game, bishop d3 was played, and as we saw, rook b4 was ideal. Black played the move h6. Now this is a blunder, and it's time for another training. Why is it a blunder? Pause the video and take your time and try to figure out. It's not bishop d2 anymore, but the move that was missed. In order to understand that, we need to see why not to play rook hf1. After h into g5, we can play bishop g6, and this looks like mate. What is the refutation? There's only one refutation. Bishop comes to f4, protects. So without this move bishop f4, black was just completely lost. Once we understand this, the first move becomes kind of easy to spot. Bishop d8, a fascinating move, attacking the queen, forcing black to take, and only now playing rook hf1, threatening mate. And this time after f6, we go bishop to g6, and this is just over. Or we can also play knight c6, this is also winning. So essentially the thing is, there is no bishop f4 happening anymore. In the game, rook b7 was played, bishop to g6. If queen d7, we play queen d5 with the idea of taking rook into f7 and queen into d6. It's over. f6 was played in the game, and now some tragedy happened. There are many ways to win this position. Of course, we don't want to take the queen, because then black escapes. But if you look at this position, you see everything is fixed. So for example, a move like rook e3, black can resign straight away, because just rook e1 is coming, and then we are giving checkmate there. So practically every move wins. Rook e2 wins, rook f3 wins. White played the move queen d5. What's wrong here? He's giving a very straightforward threat. He wants to play queen d6 check, queen takes d6, and rook e8 mate. If black plays rook e7, then there is knight c6 giving a fork. What did white miss? Another tactics training. Try for 5 minutes. Rook e7 was played, and this is the best move. Knight c6. Probably white was counting on this, that after rook into e1, there is no way to save the queen. For example, this would be a pretty mate when after queen d7 we can take queen into d6, and rook e8 is mate. But after rook e7, knight c6, there is a very nice move that black has, bishop b7, pinning the queen, and suddenly black is back in the game. It's very good that despite missing this resource, white managed to give maximum problem to black. If we take on e7 first, queen takes e7, rook d1, black must find the only move, but this is good enough to hold the position. Like, if black takes here, then after queen c6, this rook is never coming out and black is losing material. Black has the move knight a4, threatening knight c3 checkmate. Not mate, the majestic fork. And after queen c4, knight b6, attacking the queen again, Knight e7, there is knight takes c4 happening, and black escapes. In the game, white did not take rook into e7 but found the best move, queen takes c5, bishop into c5, knight into d8. Once again, it comes with an attack. Bishop d5. It looks like black completely escaped. Look at these bishops here. And the knight is stuck on d8, but there is one problem still. The rook on h8 is not out yet. Rook to d1 and bishop e4. So black is really hoping for a position like this when it's only black who can be better, although the position is equal. So in the game, knight f7 was played. How should black play here? Knight f7 is clearly the best move in the position. The move that had to be played was bishop into g6, knight h8. And here bishop e4 would be a mistake, although it looks very tempting. But rook check, we take it, we pin the bishop, and after f5 there is g4 and we are winning. Look at this knight which is stopping g6 because of knight g6. So anyhow, the best move here is bishop e8, again restricting the knight, and after rook d8, now black can play rook e4. The knight does come out, however black saves this pawn and he has enough compensation. I don't think black is going to lose this position. In the game, rook f7 was played, which is bizarre in a way, because not only it is losing because of a spectacular move, but also if white would play very naturally bishop into e4, g5, bishop g6, even this looks so scary for black. But white played a brilliant move. White did not take here, white did not take here. White just played rook f e1. What to do? Bishop g6, rook d8 is checkmate. So bishop into c2 is obligatory, king into c2, and king g8 to stop rook d8. What is the most aesthetically pleasing and the human way to finish the game? Try to find out. It's just 3 moves and the game was over. According to machine, some moves like rook d5 wins, even bishop f7 also wins, but clearly the strongest and the most pretty would be to give rook d8 check, rook f8 takes. Only one move wins. This is not very difficult. You have to spot what is black's threat. Black rook is dead here. Black wants to play h5, g4, and black resigned. The thing is, after rook h7, we don't even have to take. We don't have to do anything. We'll slowly collect this pawn, and queen this guy. So I find this game very pretty, although there were some ups and downs. But as I said in the introduction video, that for me, best games are not necessarily flawless games. If that was the case, I guess we could never enjoy Mikhail Tal's games. Or any masterpiece for that matter. There will be mistakes, but yeah, there is beauty in these games where even after missing chances, how the players are coming back, how they are coming up with brilliant ideas. I hope you enjoyed this game as much as I enjoyed showing, and see you again in the next episode. Bye bye.